Where is the stream? Went out and did a little civic improvement this morning. Oh, Lord. What do we got? We're day 8. And I think I've set it up so that I can just... if I were smart, I would figure out how to auto-spam this cocksucker. But if I were smart, also, I wouldn't say cocksucker within, 2 seconds of the stream starting. But I think we can infer the obvious conclusion there. Oh, Lord. Live fantasy writing stream. RAPAXORIS day 8. Lord. And then I guess I'll let there. And then I don't know if I even get anybody from this Twitch righty deal, but nonetheless, I am there before these others. All right, am I trying to keep track of anything else? I really don't. All right, here. Let me just refresh the chat whilst I'm doing this. All right. There are no more IRC messages awaiting me. Sneeze right into the fucking mic? What is wrong with me? All right, well, fortunately, nobody's on stream yet. What the hell is that plugged into? Oh, it's plugged into the push. All right. Well, I guess if I wanted to be mathematical about it, I would say that it takes me about 8 days to edit 40 pages or 5 pages a day, which had an average of about 2.5 to 3 hours per day. Well, it's probably closer to 2 hours average. There's been a few where I'm just like, fuck it. Saturday's just always going to be that way. But thus far, I am satisfied with the progress that we're making. What happened yesterday? Not a lot. I got a new pedal for my hi-hat that I've been wanting for a long, long time. It's pretty cool. Just the hi-hat thing that came with my kit was pretty rickety, to tell you the truth. I got a Pearl kit. And I guess the two places where you really spend for, hardware on drums is, the seat, really. A better seat makes a big-ass difference. And then the hi-hat pedal, for sure. And then probably the third would be, upgrading to, a double bass pedal or something fancy. But I'm happy with the kit. As the kit is, like everything I do, gigantic and sprawling, as you might anticipate. And I swear I spend more time fiddling with it than I do practicing. So this is just a common problem in my life: spending more time tooling around with toys than actually playing with them. So, oh. Eventually, you just realize that you like futzing with stuff, and that has to be your life. All right. Let me see there. Let me get back to the chat. All right. Well, somebody's joined me. Maybe myself. Maybe. Let me see. Let me venture over, and I can actually figure out who dares to watch the mighty RAPAXORIS. I have somebody on Twitch. That's wild. All right. Well, wherever you are, thank you for joining us. If you've never seen this before, this is an editing stream where we are at page 40 of 989. We're editing a fantasy novel that I started writing about 10 years ago called RAPAXORIS. And this is the second rewrite here. And what I'm doing here is I'm taking an existing novel and I'm adapting it to be a little bit better as a serialization, which means that each of the chapters should be a little bit more of an encapsulated short story, which is kind of how I write anyway. And then they need to have some kind of hook drawing the reader to the next chapter each time. And then I'm just trying to include more sex and violence. Because honestly, I had a bunch in the book, and I took it out. I'm like, oh, this is distasteful, and now I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Although the previous sex scenes were real cringe, so it's good that they're out. And we're trying to write them within the context of something that's justified within the story, where somebody can read it and not want to burst into flames. And a good test is just me reading them online on this stream and not dying of cringe. So, all right. So this chapter is another one that has undergone a rewrite and almost entirely rewritten and has not been through an editing pass, so it's going to be a lot choppier. Yesterday we just breezed through 8 pages in 3 hours or 2 hours or something like that. Today, I would guess that the language is a little bit more. 1.6 is the spot where we want to have the adventure actually begin. We want to have the tension moving towards a burning question and a feeling of excitement that pulls the reader forward to subscribe. Well, I would agree with that. I'd say it's been kind of exciting setting up the pieces here. So our last chapter leaves with Rigel and Fish venturing off into wherever, and this is where we establish the pursuers as actually being a quantity within this thing. And then, I don't know. Hey, I can't. It's still weird to me that I'm doing all this stuff. I don't understand why the novelty never wears off, but it is a strange way to write. I will tell you that much. All right, so the way that my editing practice is, as always, I read each line aloud, and I look for things that characters wouldn't say or that I can't read with a straight face, and then we try to edit those things to make them cooler and flow a little better. We're looking for anything that we can cut, like any bullshit words that aren't doing work. We're looking for repetition. We're looking for places where the narrator is not obvious. We're also looking for places where the POV doesn't make sense. I'm always trying to make the POV of the character stronger. This is the story. This chapter is going to be in El Shalah's point of view. What else am I trying to do there? I don't know. Just trying to, sometimes you'll think of like, hey, what if this happened instead there? And if you have a burning idea, it's great to get up in there. Wait, who is? Oh, is that you, Dio? That's up in the chat. I see something happening there. God bless Dio. He's a G. Let me see. And then who summoned me recently? Somebody in JRE. What do they have to say? Oh, this is nothing of import there. Let me mark that as a red. Well, without further ado, I think I should begin this whole thing. This is going, honestly, pretty well. Oh, it's Ben? Who the fuck is this idiot? Love comes in small doses. Oh, it's fucking... No, this guy doesn't belong here. Let me get this fucker out of here. Yeah. About half my, I don't know who that motherfucker is. Running 50 soon. Lost my grip from the terror. Oh. I don't know who that motherfucker is. Oh, it's just a random old man. Alright, I shouldn't have banned him. Yeah, just the price of living in an anonymous society is eternal vigilance against spurgs. And somebody unset all of my bans recently. So they're harder to have going on there. All right. But I digress. All right, so this is RAPAXORIS by Zach ZYZ, chapter 1.7. And this is an El Shalah chapter. I do have to go through and come up with titles for each of these chapters. Maybe that's something I'll do when I'm packaging them for... That's probably a decent idea. When I'm packaging these for the serialization, we need to like AI generate a chapter. Maybe it was the net splits? Net split. What's up, Kelly? Oh, we wait for the thief to do something stupid. She'd sounded so decisive, her words sounded so decisive on the night of the squall. I'm making breakfast. Wow, it's early for breakfast. You have like one of them gerbs where you're up early in the morning? Or, you see, my breakfast is sitting right here, half and half. Like about a teaspoon in a cup of coffee. I'll eat more later on. I think I'm going to get a big-ass salad for lunch. We wait for the thief to do something stupid. Her words... Okay. I hate, also, when italics carry on from whatever to whatever. It's a pet peeve. El Shalah's words sounded so decisive on the night of the squall. Thieves were fools. They bragged, they gambled, they fenced treasures for trifles. The ragged little urchin. No. No, it doesn't work. No, let's see. What do we got? We got sticky fingered. Oh, I like rapacious. Oh my god, I don't know if I can get away with. I've been eating only breakfast for every meal. It's the breakfast diet. Is that really a thing? I mean, that has to just be working off of like how much heavy lifting eggs do, essentially. Breakfast. I would get so sick of breakfast for every meal. Although when I'm like super keto, I eat a lot of eggs. So I'm actually thinking about having some eggs for breakfast myself. Oh, I'd love to use rapacious. The urchin was bound to... The wounded urchin was bound to turn up, eventually. But he hadn't. I could do something about how he might be armless at this point, but... Yeah, like I like the hard burl, a whole mess of eggs. Fuck, maybe I'll do that this morning. And just chow down on eggs throughout the thing. Honestly, like my biggest like weight loss ever was like where I just never wanted to see another egg for the rest of my life because like every time you're hungry, just like make an omelet. That's it. Thieves were fools. They bragged, they gambled, they fenced treasures for trifles. Let's see. The wounded urchin was bound to turn up eventually. I like the wounded urchin. It sounds like a seaside tavern. But he hadn't. For 2 fruitless days. Is there a comma there? For 2 fruitless days. I break it up with toast and pancakes and yogurt. But after like a few hours, I'm good for an omelet again. Yeah, right now I'm like on a pretty severe keto, where like I can't eat any kind of toast or pancakes or even yogurt for the most part. I think most of my carbohydrates come from like salad related shit, like carrots or almonds or what have you. There, it's not working too because I'm still fat. I'm just eating too much shit. But yeah, I got to get a little bit more serious with it. It ain't easy, because it ain't easy being cheesy. You know what I'm saying? All right, what do we got? All right, let's take a look at this paragraph. So her chapters seem to have like a more snarky kind of goofy. It's way too hard to do keto. I've noticed like some people just can't pull it off there. And it used to be hard. I remember it used to be hard to do, and I would like dream of tortillas, which is like definitely like burritos are like what I miss the most when I'm like on an actual diet. Good burrito is hard to fucking beat, but eventually you just don't care. You feel so much better. Yeah, there's just something about grains that really slow my ass down. Rice and so forth. Like I just feel like a better overall. Like the engine is running cleaner when I'm not when I'm keeping it really low. And then like I'll start I'll be like, oh well, I'll go out for pasta some night, and then it all goes off the rails. And like 3 months later, I put on 20 pounds, and I'm like, fuck. And then I gotta. It's a cycle. But I honestly like. I'm getting to the point where I enjoy the cycle too. I like. It's cool to have a while and be like, all right, I'm gonna stop drinking every night. I'm gonna stop doing all this shit, and then have some time to kind of reflect and recharge. All right. El Shalah's words sounded. El Shalah's words had sounded so decisive on the night of the squall. Thieves were fools. They bragged, they gambled, they fenced treasures for trifles. The wounded urchin was bound to turn up, eventually. But he hadn't. For two fruitless days... it feels like there's a comma there. For 2 fruitless days... There's the comma. For 2 fruitless days, El Shalah and Revel had scoured all 4 quarters of Laz. They found no trace of boy nor orb. Can't you scry him out? Revel's words came back to El Shalah many times in the days that followed. Revel's words haunted El Shalah in the days that followed. She'd tried, of course. All right, I want to see if obliviated is a real word. Obliviate, yeah. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Revel's words haunted El Shalah in the days that followed. They're not words. He's like implying that she sucks. Revel's critique haunted El Shalah in the days that followed. She'd tried, of course. She'd tried, of course, and failed. The accursed Magebane obliviated every bond between the boy and the trail he'd bled all over the tower. All right, so here we're getting... Oh, shit, Brongulus. Just in time. We just began... Here, now that you're here, let's read through what we got so far. So it's chapter 1.7. We wait for the thief to do something stupid. El Shalah's words had sounded so decisive on the night of the squall. Thieves were fools. They bragged, they gambled, they fenced treasures for trifles. The wounded urchin was bound to turn up, eventually. But he hadn't. For 2 fruitless days, El Shalah and Revel v. Ramos Revel and El Shalah had scoured... I don't know why Revel sounds better first. For 2 fruitless days, Revel and El Shalah had scoured all 4 quarters of Laz. They found no trace of boy nor orb. Can't you scry him out? Revel's implied critique haunted El Shalah in the days that followed. Let's just check out. Revel's critique haunted whoa, what am I doing there? I'm like biting it off. Revel's critique haunted El Shalah in the days that followed. She'd tried, of course, and failed. The Magebane had obliterated the accursed Magebane. The Magebane had obliterated every bond between the boy and the trail he'd bled through the tower. It's getting in too much to like have her like she can't even scrub it out of the carpet. The Magebane had obliterated every bond between the boy and the trail he'd bled throughout the tower. Mm-hmm. A stronger diviner might have found a way. But El Shalah's unversed sorcery found no purchase. She had no real excuse. She had no excuse. All the books she'd meant to memorize were in the library, untouched on the shelves. The summer was gone, squandered in swirls of smoke and sweat-soaked sheets. So we do sheets of the chapter before in a pretty... Let's see. Yeah, so we can't use... When Arath came back and found the orb missing, he'd ring it all... Oh, wait, hold on, let's go back. Revel's critique haunted El Shalah in the days that followed. She'd tried, of course, and failed. The Magebane had obliterated every bond between the boy and the trail he'd bled. All right, that's a little better. Revel's critique haunted El Shalah in the days that followed. She'd tried, of course, and failed. The snake led it. Let's see. No. The snake led it obliviated every bond between the boy and the blood trail he'd tracked across the tower of the Unraveler. A stronger diviner might have found a way to overcome the Magebane. But El Shalah's unversed sorcery found no purchase. She had no excuse. All the books she'd meant to memorize were in the library, untouched on the shelves. The summer was gone, squandered in squirrels of smoke and sweat. Okay, cool. Hopefully, like, sweat gets across what I want there. I don't, oh shit. Alright, so Logic is up in the chat. Although he's probably drunk as hell by this point. Good lord. Man can drink. I mean, I can't talk. I do like a brew. Alright. Did I say squirrels when I read it aloud? Yeah. I'm congested. That's what. Oh, so you would pronounce swirls as squirrels? Yes. Fuck. I was thinking recently about going through and just rewatching like seasons 3 through 12 of The Simpsons. Like I can't believe that there are like 20 seasons of that show that I have not seen. I think I watched up until like season 17 or 18, and I was just like, this is just getting sad at this point. Yeah, they'll probably cancel it at some point. Or just have AI do all the voices. I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. But I'm sure that they've had moments of brilliance that I've missed in like the last whatever, but his time as like a cultural icon is gone. Let me see. That wasn't you that got just banned. Was it Bradius? I see a Bradley on a New Jersey IP that got clapped. If that's you, let me know, but I don't think it's you. Yeah, we have a bot that just kills compromised hosts, and sometimes sometimes it ain't right. Okay, cool. When Arath came home at last and found his... When Arath came home, so... Yeah. Hungry, auspice, foreboding. Nah. When Arath came back, when Arath returned from his long journey and found that When Arath returned from his long journey and found the gate orb was gone, he would wring it all out of her. Okay. When Arath returned from his long journey and found the gate orb gone, he would wring it all out of her. El Shalah was too inept to scry out the orb. Too high in the throes of passion to strike the thief dead on the spot. Too afraid and ashamed to call for help. A complete disappointment. If Elle could cast a spell to unmake herself as if she'd never been born, she would. Alas, she didn't know that one either. Okay. A little bit of a hokey paragraph to tell you, if I'm being totally honest. I buy the POV a little bit. I just think the language is too ornate. Yeah, oh yeah, this is where we get into. After the shipbreaker, El Shalah expected to wake and find that Revel had abandoned her to her fate. She was only a summer fling after all. The Duke's son surprised her. Revel stayed stalwart at her side and said to the I just want to get contributed to the pursuit in there. Instead, the Duke's son surprised her. Revel stayed stalwart at her side and contributed to the pursuit with unexpected efficacy. Far out of his father's favor, Revel still had enough pull to wrangle an edict from the Legate of Trade. I think it's Legate. Oh shit, what's going on, Anjo? I'm so happy that y'all are... Oh, Bradius, we are doing LRH Con, September 8th through 12th. Come on down if you want. What I'm telling everybody is even if you don't want to hang out at Casa Lodi and come to like the live taping of LRH and stuff like that, we're still going to do 2 events that are fun for other people. We're doing a beer hall on Saturday night that just anybody can attend that is not on our murder list. And then we... ASMR voice. Oh, yeah, Logic. Why don't you take off your pants, buddy? Oh, no. Anyhow. Then on Sunday, it's going to be just a game. Yeah, we're going to a beer hall that I love. It's a German beer hall. I mean, like pseudo-German. But yeah, we're all going to drink giant boots of beer and get super fucked up. And then the next day, we're going to play... Wait, I want the people on our murder list to be here. No, these are people that are not allowed to participate at all. It's only about 5 people who have like threatened to appear, and if they show up at the thing, they will be savagely beaten. There's no spacebar on this keyboard. It's all right. I can parse it. Yeah, so the fun days are going to be Saturday and Sunday, and then on Monday, we're going to the 9/11 Memorial, and we're going to maybe do a crazy prank. We'll see. Maybe we won't. It really depends on how people are feeling at the time. But I have plans. Oh. All right. Oh, yeah. So you can't come to New York on 9/11 and not do some crazy shit. I mean, who are we after all? After the shipbreaker, El Shalah expected to wake and find that Revel had abandoned her. Fully expected to wake and find that Revel had abandoned her to her fate. She was only a summer fling after all. Instead, the Duke's son surprised her. Revel stayed stalwart at her side and contributed to the pursuit with unexpected efficacy. Far out of his father's favor, Revel still... Far out of his father's favor, he still had enough pull to wrangle an edict from the legate of trade. Every ship that embarked from the harbor was first... Oh, I like first search for stowaways. That sounds like a lot of fun, and I would totally say yes, but that degree of travel isn't within my budget. Aren't you in, like, Boston or something like that? You can totally take a train down for, like, next to nothing, and I am trying to organize, like, a room share for the people who are totally skint and people who are dead broke can sleep on an air mattress on my floor. So, really, and, like, I will tell you that some of the food and carousing is just going to be covered by yours truly. Like, oh, you're in Seattle? No, you can't come from fucking Seattle. That's a $200 flight, even if you pick one up now. So yeah, I fully anticipate. But we're going to do another one. I think the next one is going to be in the middle of the country. I'm thinking Denver, so that we can actually just host the entire event at 777 Emerson Street. And then the year after, we're going to go to Noisebridge. So... Can you imagine, like, I set foot in San Francisco and there's just people with pitchforks waiting at the fucking jetway, like in the monorail episode. I don't know why mine's on The Simpsons today. But, their search began the morning after the storm. Revel knew all the places in the Quartier Nobel where a young... We actually don't need this. Yeah. Revel knew all the places in the Quartier Nobel where a hurt boy might hide. Okay, and so I went to here. Okay. So... Okay, cool. So I want to have some maps at the start of the story. It's gonna rule. Yeah. Yeah. Just FYI, like the LRH con this year is like very, I want to say like small and intimate right there, and I'm really only extending invites at all brattiest to the people that I think are chill and that I would want to meet IRL. So there is a select few. So that invite is not a casual, hey, everybody come on down. Many people I have either turned away or kind of engineered so that they don't come. But yeah, from me, that is a genuine invite. I much appreciate your contributions to the stream, and I think you'd have a good time. So next year will be even crazier. Hell yeah. Yeah, anybody that's like helping me out on this shit, I do not forget it. All right, anyhow. Revel knew all the places in the Quartier Nobel where a young hurt boy might hide. He had the watchman turn them over twice. Next, Revel led them to the moiety mercant. He hired scribes. He hired a scribe to pen 10 waybills offering up an eye-watering reward. The sum was absurd, enough to overwhelm the scruples of any soft-hearted sap who might supply sanctuary to a young thief. Young is important. Finally, they came to the suit. Finally, they came to the sooty clangor of the Court of Foundry. He described. I'm going to be fat as hell. Actually, 600 LB as well. I mean, you know, you can start slimming now and get to. It's like LRH is like bikini season. We're all going to be oiled up the whole time. No, you can be as fat as you fucking want. Believe me, all my friends are fat, except for like 2 notable people who work out. But me and all my friends are giant lardos. So. Ugh. And actually, I think the situation should be, we're just going to fucking go to beer halls and play board games. We're not doing anything that I wish that were me. Oh. That's cool. Yeah, I think it would be, the last one that we did was just me, Eraser, Zartet, Kakama, and like a few other mystery chatters that don't want to be named. And we really had like kind of a blast. The show was really fun. We did the surprise reveal of Eraser because he had bailed on every other show. There's just like a lot of walking around New York, and mostly like everybody was so introverted that it was just everybody like hanging out for like 3 hours, and then we were like, all right, let me get away from you fucking people. Then we dispersed for 3 hours and then hang out for another 3. Yeah, Kakama is a party animal, by the way. They are living a life that you and I can't dream of partying that much, and Kakama can just fall asleep fucking anywhere. They can just like lay on a bench and just pass the fuck out. And it's I think there's still drugs, like legal drugs, but all over my house. No, I think I finally fucking threw them away. But yeah, it was wild there. And we did like that street stream, like going through the mist with Kakama, and I don't remember the name of the person that was with Kakama, but yeah, it was fucking dope. All right. The sum was absurd, enough to overwhelm the scruples of any soft-hearted sap who might supply sanctuary to a young thief. The sum was absurd, more than enough to overwhelm the scruples. I don't know. Next was the sooty clangor. stuck with this keyboard and WTF. Logic, get her a new keyboard, buddy. Should make her like a custom keycap one, where each one is like a resin keycap of like like it doesn't have letters on it. They're just like I'm wearing my Edit Ace hat. That's a good hat there. Next, he left them. Next was the sooty clangor of the quarter foundry. Revel described the distinct features of his stolen dagger. Let me see. What do you think? Revel described the distinct features of his dagger to the foremost smiths and stokers. Soon, eyes would be out for the wayward blade, everywhere in Laz. No, there's no comment there. I already had a comment there. Yeah, I was way ahead of you there. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So, comma F slur. Oh Lord. Yeah, I as promised, exactly there. Big brong. All right, what do we got here? So I want to have AP there. Revel's adept planning and artful politicking caught El Shala off guard. And then off guard is hyphenated. Yeah. Revel's she'd treated him like a dog for so long, comma. She'd almost forgotten he was good for anything else. Their steps turned downhill towards Tinkerton. They'd saved the worst for last. Now it all fell to El. Revel stood out in the teeming streets of Tinkerton like a fleeced sheep. The nobleman... Oh my god. I'm wearing the hat, comma, mistake. What fucking... You have to say where it is, Logic. I only look over every few seconds. Like, I wanna make these changes, but... No, you think the downhill towards Tinkerton shouldn't... Their steps turn downhill towards Tinkerton. I think that comma is appropriate there. It was up. All right, let me see. She'd treated him like a dog for so long. That's how long she's doing it for. She'd almost forgotten he was good for anything else. Yeah. That's real. Soon eyes would be out for whatever. That all looks good to me. All those commas are appropriate. But I know I am awful at I'm getting better, though. For real. Let me see. Now it all fell to El. Revel stood out in the teeming streets of Tinkerton like a fleeced sheep. Her noble beau knew next to nothing of the war for the wicked ways of the wastrels who called it home. He knew next to nothing of the war for the wicked ways of the wastrels who called it home. This is a serious sentence. Next was the... Wait, where's the fucking... Oh, yeah. Yeah, that doesn't belong there. All right. You got it, Logic. Next was the... Oh, is it there, though? Comma after next at the beginning of the sentence. Next is a sequence adverb used to start the sequence, so we use a comma after it. Next is an introductory word in a sequence, sentence, or independent clause is always followed by a comma. At the start of a sentence or after of an independent clause, add a comma after a conjunctive add word like next. It has to be there. It's, it looks wrong. I will tell you, Logic, it looks wrong to me too. Next, but it's an adverb. You're saying that, all right, so let's look at it in the context of the sentence. Next came the, yeah, it feels wrong to have the, here, let's, yeah, I don't know what would be coming next. Next is regular adverb. I think it has to have a comma. It looks very wrong to my eye. But yeah, so we have it's actually a good point. So we get away. Then he led them to the sooty clangor of the. Okay, cool. We use next the line before, so we don't want to have like a whole row of next there. So it's funny too because it looks right here. Next, Revel led them to the moiety merchant. That looks exactly right to me because it's like the conjunctive adverb, and then the sentence that looks right, and then fucking wayward blade everywhere in last. Okay, so that's better. Then he led him to the sooty clangor of the court of foundry. Revel described the distinct features of his dagger to the district's foremost smiths and stokers. Soon eyes would be out for the wayward blade, everywhere in Laz. I like wayward blade. I can't believe we're getting away with this horse. We're not. We're really not getting. I can't believe I've fooled myself into believing that I'm getting away with this horse shit. Yeah, that's going to be brutal in this chapter. I like where she's surprised to find that this guy who has been raised his entire life to be like in an administrative capacity is actually good at getting shit done within the context of this medieval city. Like she's just been he's been like her whipping boy for so long she's just forgotten. Like, oh yeah, he actually knows what the fuck he's doing. And it's important because this guy is going to soak a lot of reader scorn and so forth. It's important. Off guard is hyphenated, is my understanding. Let's Oh, interesting. In off guard, the hyphen only needs to be used when the phrase stands in front of a noun that it modifies as an adjective in the attributed position, as in an off guard supervisor. But because, oh shit, what's going on, Kuntz? So, I wanted to. Kuntz made like a really valiant attempt to get a birthday gift to Dwayne. I think he tried like twice, and Dwayne just completely fucking blew him off. So, thank you for your service, Kuntz. And, yeah, I got to get the band back together, by the way, for a fall IRC D&D. So has it been like a whole year since we did it, or has it been 2 years since we did IRC D&D? I think it's time again, and I have an idea for a story. So we are going to try and get one of those going if people have the time and the patience to do it. I don't know what's going on with Zartet. He's been absentee for a little bit there. I can text Dwayne if y'all need. Yeah, no, Kuntz has his info. I have his address somewhere, but I didn't want to find. I think we'll do something different. It'll be new characters and stuff. I think we might do something that is like kind of like cyberpunk future thing, or in space or some shit. I want to do something different than what we did before. Their steps turned downhill towards Tinkerton. They'd saved the worst for last. All right, let me make sure that... Okay, because... Mm-hmm. Or the same characters, but like 10 years in the future. Well, Zartet is dead, so that's not going to be an easy one for him. IRC D&D Adventure 17 was in February of 2022. Okay, so yeah, we're more than past a year after. I like to start IRC shit when fall starts in. To me, like, fall is where I'm like thinking about, you know, like fucking fireplaces and stew and mulled wine and fucking D&D. That's where it really says. I'd like to do it as maybe like after Halloween. All right, cool. Now it all fell to L. Revel stood out in the teeming streets of Tinkerton like a fleeced sheep. He knew next to nothing of the wharf or the wicked ways of the wastrels who called it home. El Shalah was raised in this shantytown. Since she was old enough to walk, a wrath brought her along when he plied his trade in Tinkerton. The Unraveler was well known for... I think there's 2 L's in Unraveler. She tried, of course, and failed. I don't think we want to use... yeah, I don't want to use M-dashes there. The Unraveler was well known for unweaving wards, subverting curses, dissecting hexes, and dispensing with pretenders. They sold his services to petty thieves and gang princes alike, for there was always something that needed undoing. Everyone knew Arath, and many... Everyone knew Arath and his sorceress apprentice. The reputation of the... Oh, I think I... Alright, let's... So, Unraveler is not a real fucking word. And my question is whether it has 2 L's or... Alright. Let's just sort this right now. Okay, two L's is I wonder what words had. Let's search in Google Books. The Unraveler seasons, clothing alterations sequence, Gerard Marty Hopkins and the spell of John Duns Scotus. To be continued in annotated guide to sequels. Ascension, a Phobos novel. Ugh. Okay, two L's. Let's do the entire fucking manuscript. Wait, where's match case? Yeah. Okay. And then it should always be capital. Okay. Replace all. And then Unraveler. Okay, cool. How did we fucking... Oh yeah, we went deep into the cut for this. Oh, let me go back to the beginning. Unraveler is not found. Unraveler. Okay, cool. So, well, that's what we're doing here. So it is like it's not a real word in that it's not in dictionaries because it's like fairly uncommon. If we go back to our Ngram viewer, we can see that, yeah, we're getting into like it's next to nil, what's going on there, but by a factor of 3, it's more common to have two L's. So just because it's like we want to get as close to like the common spelling as we possibly can, even though it's like an uncommon word. It's just people don't normally need to say like somebody who unravels things, but it is a cool name for an archmage. The Unraveler was well known for unweaving wards, subverting curses, dissecting hexes, and dispensing with pretenders. He sold his services to petty thieves and gang princes alike, for there was always something that needed undoing. Everyone knew. Everyone in the slum knew a wrath and a sorceress apprentice. The Archmage's reputation was a far better armor than Revel's heavy shirt of mail. Okay. 2 L's house pulled. There is a religious role called Raveler in Orson Scott Card's books. Oh yeah, somebody who like weaves things together. Yeah, like ravels. I think there's a Seinfeld episode about somebody uses the word ravel, and they're like, "You what correctly?" It's a weird word. If I had to guess, I would say that it came from French. Let's find out. Let's take a look. Ravel. Revellen from Dutch. To become entangled. Revellen. Contronym having both senses of tangling. Oh, contronym is like a cool word, where a word means both itself and its opposites. This is cool. A term with two opposite meanings. Okay. Now I keep thinking of the word, and it makes no sense anymore. It's a word. in both instances of tangling and untangling, it would appear that the tangling senses predate the untangling ones in Dutch. But this is uncertain because the first published uses of both senses occur around the same time. It's kind of interesting there. I wouldn't have guessed Dutch. I would have guessed, yeah, Dutch and Scottish. Neat. I wonder what it was before Dutch. Well, now we know. See, I love knowing the term contronym now. Let's see. Okay, cool. Everyone in the slum knew Arath and his sorceress apprentice. The Archmage's reputation was better armor than Rebel's heavy shirt of mail. El Shalah, could cross into any turf, enter any tavern, and talk to anyone in Tinkerton. In a single day, they canvassed more places than 20 watchmen could have stormed in a week. Still, nothing. Still, they found nothing. No. The next day, well, this is here. Yeah, we don't need to put a day between these. Rancid rubbed, and they intruded into the You're way ahead of me. Yeah, I've not even gandered upon that yet. In a single day, they canvassed more places than 20 watchmen could have stormed in a week. L searched out every. See, so what we had there was like essentially we had our conclusory sentence, and then it was before all the shit that they were going to do. In a single day, they canvassed more places than 20 watchmen could have stormed in a week. L searched out every. See, like you missed this. L searched out every healer, herbalist, barber, butcher, snake oil salver, and outright quack she could find. Oh, you want an and there? Yeah, I think. And we can just take out the days there. All right, so let's try that. No. Oh, I do like the final nothing. But there, for nothing to be there, it has to be italicized. Nothing can't just be. Okay. This is a tough sentence to get to work. In a single day, they canvassed more places than 20 watchmen could have stormed in a week. L searched out every healer, herbalist, butcher, barber, butcher, snake oil salver, and outright quack she could find. None would cop to amputating an arm or treating a thief. There we go. This track's a little better. None would cop to treating a thief or performing an amputation. Well, let's try both ways. L searched out every healer, herbalist, barber, butcher, snake oil salver, and outright quack she could find. No one would cop to treating a thief or performing an amputation. No one does work better. No one would cop to treating a thief or performing an amputation. They overturned bodies rotting in alleys and fished floating corpses from canals. They grimaced through charnel houses, pig pens, and the dens of rumored cannibals. They left with empty hands and empty stomachs. Okay, cool. They left with empty hands and empty stomachs. It didn't end there. The pair sifted through smoldering ash heaps, rifled through hummocks of rancid rubbish, and this is terrible, yeah. Mm-hmm. Smoldering ash heaps. All right, this is. No, there's not a comma when we break up the like the three things. When it's just two, it's just a straight and. All right, let's try. We really are getting kind of goofy with our language here. They overturned bodies rotting in alleys and fished floating corpses from canals. They grimaced through charnel houses, pig pens, and the dens of rumored cannibals. They left with empty hands and empty stomachs. It didn't end there. The pair sifted through smoldering ash heaps and rifled through hummocks of rancid rubbish. They poked through slave pens, intruded in drug dens, and forced themselves into flop houses full. No, this is too much. I love the term flophouse, by the way, which was, do you know, show of hands. Oh, you can hit the spacebar now? Nice. What did you have to do? You just, like, blast it out like a Nintendo cartridge or get another computer? Okay. Show of hands. Who in the chat knows what a flophouse is? And I will explain if you do not know. That's our house. Your house is not a flop house. And so this is my understanding of what it was back in the day. So back in the day, in Dickensian English, basically the idea was that for the truly poor, like the wretched of the streets of London, they would just have a shitty house, and instead of beds, they would just have a rope strung across the whole thing. And then people would just like lean themselves over the rope to keep themselves off of the ground. People would just be like leaned over the rope, and so instead of a bed or like even dirt to sleep on, they would just be upright all night, like flopped over this rope. Let me know if that's true. Hold on. Okay. The flop houses still exist. Place that offered very low-cost lodging. So these actually have bunks. DOS houses. Lowest cost alternative. Hobo slang. No, okay. So everything I just said is a lie. It seemed unlikely. Flophouse rope. Yeah, this is what I was. Did people in Victor? No, this is okay. So it's an urban legend. Hanging from a rope for 2 pennies. Let's see. Coffins for 2 pence a night. Oh, oh yeah, this is it. This is what I was looking at there. For 2 pence a night, you stood but slumped over a rope to keep yourself from falling to the ground. How would that not cut off circulation? Holy shit. Okay, so this was a real deal. How is that is that the term hangover? Fuck, where you're so drunk. Look at these guys. All right, so I knew this was a fucking thing. 20 to a house. There are places where you could rent your bed for a few hours sleep, but shared it with others without the bedding being changed. How are we alive? DOS houses. I can't believe they had DDoS houses. It was a real fucking deal. All right, so there you can see it. Look at these characters hung over the road. I knew that this was a real fucking thing, but that's not the origin of the term flophouse, apparently, which comes from hobo slang. All right. So that was I was thinking about this last night because I was reading some scene where they were like the heroes were locked up overnight in some temple and oh fuck, could have done without that. All right, what do we got there? All right, and force themselves into overflowing flop houses. Nothing. They pressed on. A Ras name kept them safe from all. All right. Let's take a look. They overturned bodies rotting in alleys and fished floating corpses from canals. They grimaced through charnel houses, pig pens, and the dens of rumored cannibals. They left with empty hands and empty stomachs. It didn't end there. The pair sifted through smoldering ash heap and rifled through hummocks of rancid rubbish. They poked through slave pens, intruded in drug dens, and forced themselves into overflowing flap houses. Nothing. They pressed on. A rash reputation kept them safe from all but the most desperate. A rash reputation kept them safe from all but the most desperate cutthroats, while Revel's size and the castle seal at his side made the remainders reconsider. Still, every step through the slums was an assault on their senses. They were surrounded by a din of shouting, screaming, banging, clanging, cawing, gnawing, never-ending noise. Vomit covered? Do I have vomit covered? Still, every step through the... slums was an assault on their senses. They were surrounded by a din of shouting, screaming, banging, clanging, cawing, gnawing, pandemonium from every angle. Every surface was ugly, every shape misshapen. I can't believe... Every house seemed painted from this... Every structure seemed painted from the same vomited-upon palette. Oh, my God. No, I 100%... If you're going that far, it has to be vomited upon, not vomited covered. There is a strong difference. I would never change that. A new reek belched up from the muck every few paces. Vomit schemed? We want something like novel there. Hold on. Where's fucking Safari? Okay. And then... Cool. And then here, that's good. Out of Chrome. Let's see. A different offbeat, an offbeat reek. Rare. Recherche?
Recherche.
Oh, I actually got that fucking... I had never heard recherche before. Very rare, exotic. A foreign origin or character... What the fuck is all... Oh my God, how do I not have ad block in Safari? Oh, well, look at this bullshit. How do people... This is awful. Look at all this horse shit. Alright, well that's why we were using Chrome. Alright. Let's see. No. No, look. Oh, fuck this. This is unusable. Alright. I'm going back to whatever the fuck this was. Yeah, I can't believe how. There you go. Okay. A recherche. So I want something like novel. Oh my god, we go. This is fucking. How? All right. So we're doing like the full on page. I guess this is where we really get into the depiction of Tinkerton. This is a lot to put on the reader. A new reek belched up from the muck every few paces. Clouds of phosphorescent miasma glowed above oily canals. Smoke billowed from smelters and renderers. This is almost lemon, maybe. Oh yeah, yeah. Drifts of phosphorescent miasma glowed above oily canals. Smog billowed from smelters. Drifts of phosphorescent miasma glowed above the oily canals. Smog billowed from smelters, and clouds of ochre cane smoke issued from alleys. Caught in an avalanche of Caught in an avalanche of stenches, El Shalah was dragged back to her youth. I don't know if avalanche of stenches is permissible. Unless she's embroiled in... embroiled in an avalanche of stench. El Shalah was dragged back to her youth. Her earliest memories were here, toddling after a wrath. She'd giggled at sailors pissing off piers, gasped at the rat packs that fought over the remain. Oof. But is there ever more than one stench? I think avalanche of stench is really too much. Skeleton. Oh, where is the of? Let's see. I think Rat Packs is too much. There we go. Unless I got deleted. Wearing the Edit Ace hat. Ugh. I don't see two ubs anywhere. This is Andy's smarter than us all, man. Yeah. It's just we're only alive because she suffers us to be. All right. The avalanche of stench carried El Shalna back to childhood. Her earliest memories were here, toddling after a wrath. She'd giggled at the sailors pissing off piers and gawked at poxy whores who lifted their skirts. Uh-huh. A wrath never bid her to look away. A wrath never made her look away. He considered it part of her education. When she was 7 years old, El Shala watched Arath burn the wooden fortress of the Josekin clan to cinders, with all of them trapped within. Every Josequin baked with it. No, that's gay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I thought about having the definite article in Poxy Horrors, and it works without it. Actually, we haven't really... Holy fuck, look at this. Look at this paragraph right here. Still, every step through the slums was an assault on their senses. They were surrounded by a din of shouting, screaming, banging, clanging, cawing, gnawing, pandemonium from every angle. This is a... Okay, we need an M dash there. A comma doesn't do it because it's like a different pandemonium from every angle. Every surface was ugly. Every shape was misshapen. Every shape misshapen. Okay, so this is Every The structures were all painted from the same vomited upon palette. A new reek. Uh-huh. The whole district reeked. Drifts of phosphorescent miasma glowed above the oily canals. Smog billowed from smelters, and clouds of ochre canes. Ochre clouds of cane smoke issued from alleys. The avalanche of stench swept out. The avalanche of stench swept El Shala back to childhood. Her earliest memories were here, toddling after a wrath. Okay, cool. When she was 7 years old, El Shala watched a wrath When she was 7 years old, El Shala watched a wrath burn the wooden fortress of the Josekin clan to cinders. The entire line died, trapped inside. Oh, give a big pat to Puppy and Mila for me. Them dogs. All right, what do we got? How should I feel? All right. When she was 9, Arath drew a demon from Rollo the Book's tortured son. And banished the squirming mass back into the void. At 11, she witnessed her first wizard's duel. Fire-breathing Yule, wooden fortress of the Josekin clan to ashes. Oh, I like that he glassed him. Puppy's just Joe Biden outside. He don't know where he at. Oh, oh, oh. That's a good dog. Oh, I mean, it's a good comparison. You know, like likes to sniff children. Fucking doesn't know where he is. Shits himself. You know. Oh. No. Renaming puppy Biden. Oh. Shit, 14 years old. That means he's a fucking 98 in dog years. That's crazy. Wait, is that math even close to right? Yeah, it sounds about right. All right. The entire line perished inside. When she was 9, Arath drew a thread devil from Mallow the Book's tortured son. He banished the squirming mass back into the void. Not from fear. Oh, hold on. Let me fucking get there. He banished the squirming. At 11, she witnessed her first wizard's duel. Fire-breathing Yule Syndergren sailed all the way from Earthworth to challenge the Unraveler. Arath spent just 2 words on him. The first turned Yoan's flesh into glass. The next shattered him into 1,000 shards. El Shala cried after that. Not from fear, but because Arath refused to teach her those words. I like it. Yeah, it could go either way. Yeah. I don't. Well, it wouldn't be hyphen. You don't use hyphens for that. You use M dashes to indicate an aside. Let's take a look at the. M dashes, and we want them. When writing a parenthetical or interrupted phrase. have a slightly more emphatic feel. Yeah, so this is what it would be like. Okay. The anatomy and physiology of pain. All right. No, I don't think the M dash melted wax. Hold on, I didn't even see that because we were talking about dogs the whole time. Oh yeah. Until the stones melted like wax. The entire line perished inside. Okay, what time is it? Only 7:21. I'm already like ready to fucking call it here. At the age of 11. Yeah, I think that's a little better. Well, at the age of 11, yeah, the age works better. Because the other ones we do that, are they all prime numbers? 7? No, there's 9 in there. Okay, cool. So I'm going to break here because I can feel the backlog quest Phoebe. I want to witness a wizard's duel. I think a bunch of them take place later in the book. Some need to take place in the book. You can't. It's 4:21 in the morning. Yes, hello, Phoebe. Let's see. Yeah, I'm out of guess. So let's call it here. I gotta go work all day today, and I want to, because I feel like we're overburdening the reader with stuff, and I want to figure out what I can cut. All right, so I'll catch y'all in a little bit, and thank you for joining.